So, good morning, everyone. It is Coffee Conversation. I am so excited because I have someone that I met through another Trace Coffee Conversation woman,
Mm.
Mara, who I hope you all check out. She's a dreamboat. But Meghan Barich, I'm so excited for you to join me because you are a transformational coach, an EFT tapping practitioner, which we're going to get into.
Mhm.
You're a writer, a storyteller, content, strategy, all the things. But you came from a very corporate background, right?
Yeah.
MKR, Radius.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
how, okay, we'll get to the how'd you get there. But what do you do when we talk about a coach and EFT tapping practitioner? Because I think we've actually talked about tapping from another guest, Janice Frazier. And
Mm.
so I'm really excited to kind of bring
Oh,
this to people. So tell us, what do you do?
perfect. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here, Jillian. It's a delight to get to have a conversation with another woman in this town, and I certainly do love my coffee. So, it's all the things at the same time.
Yeah.
I am a transformational coach. I'm a life coach, and I really help folks overcome their people pleasing patterns so
Mm.
that they can really learn to live into the joy of a fully expressed life, right? Oftentimes we don't say what we mean, and we don't honor what we truly want, and we honor what everybody else wants. And so all sorts of stuff gets built up around us that doesn't resonate or feel really true to us and causes a lot of internal conflict. And so I help folks kind of peel that away. And one of the most powerful tools in doing that, one, is self-inquiry. So I'm big proponent of a journaling, like a daily journaling practice, and getting really honest with ourselves through
Yeah.
self-inquiry. And then EFT tapping. And EFT tapping, the EFT stands for emotional freedom techniques. And so what we're really doing is gaining some freedom from our emotional experience in our lives. And anyone who is familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy, which I am not a therapist, but the idea that, right, our thoughts generate our feelings and our feelings generate our behavior. So if we want to shift something in our life, we got to look at our thoughts and we got to look at the feelings that they're creating. And EFT tapping is this really, really gentle modality of making space for our emotional experiences and not judging them,
Yeah.
and giving ourselves a space to be really honest with ourselves and see what the limiting beliefs are that are tied up in them. And stuff just gets untangled and loosened so beautifully. And it's a modality that you can like take in your pocket with you anywhere. Like it, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we'll explore it together.
We're gonna do it, y'all, at the end
Yeah.
of this. We're gonna
Yes.
we're gonna do a little thing because I have this feeling, even as I listen to you talk, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cry. And I don't
Oh,
want to do that till the end. So let's just wait. Let's just see what happens. We'll see if
I
emotional bubbles come up for me.
Oh, I've had like 2 weeks of just like, I don't know if it's like the season changed or something, but I am like shedding something because I am like,
Yes.
tears are just like been flowing like
And I
water.
think tears are incredibly healthy. I think that
Yeah,
more people need to cry.
absolutely. And I kept them bottled up for a long time until
Yeah.
I learned some tools to help me
Yeah.
regulate my emotions.
Uh-huh. Well, as a struggling people pleaser at times, I feel that. So how'd you get here? How'd you get to this point of leaving corporate America, working for yourself, getting into this, new practice? How'd you get here?
It's a great question, and it seems like a challenging one to do, to answer very succinctly, but I do have this belief that everything we've ever experienced brought us to exactly the moment that we are. And sometimes I feel like almost like, oh my gosh, I'm this Jill of trades, that I'm like a master of none, like can read my background of like, oh, I've been in sales, I've been in marketing, I've been a writer, I've been this, like business to business sales, customers, like in a lot of restaurant experience too. But it comes to this culmination of like really like a deep curiosity around people, and in being able to ask really good questions and help them see themselves. And so, yeah, my background, I studied journalism and did a lot of, in the early 2000s, really jumped into a sales career and built a really strong sales career. And then got to this point where I'm like, oh, I forgot how much I love to write. And so I jumped back into writing and got into marketing and copywriting, and then moved back into kind of customer service in the agency world, account management, which just combined my
Yeah.
creativity and my people skills together really beautifully. And I also would get fueled by my own people pleasing, right? I think it was kind of what made me really good at my job, was that I was obsessed with getting people's approval, getting accolades, just getting the clients to say, "Oh my goodness, you're so wonderful." You know, and I did good work, you know, I did good work and I had good skills, but really like I just was so overfueled by that, that I kind of got lost into the identity of my role and was lacking any balance or perspective in my life. And I completely burned out in March of 2021. And like adrenal fatigue, like doctors are like, this isn't good. Like, and so I knew something had to shift in my life. And so I walked away from my career and at the same time found EFT. And it was like the right time, like the right place, the right time. It was the most nurturing, nourishing thing to bring into my life at that time to really take care of my nervous system, which allowed me to just kind of gain better perspective. When you're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode, which is really what I was operating on for so long, with that anxiety of like people pleasing, getting my nervous system back online allowed me to start bringing my cognition back online too, and really start to make some better decisions for myself and get clear on what it is I actually want in my life. And so I got here by way of burnout is the short answer, is the long and short of it. And so I had been using, I had been studying therapeutic writing. I had been doing a lot of shadow work, all alongside of my career for my own healing journey, and saw my own transformation and the transformation of people doing the work alongside me, that I knew there was something that I wanted to be able to bring to the world and share my experience and the tools that I've picked up. And again, combine just kind of my love of people and my ability to really pull people out of themselves a little bit. So.
It is. I really think it's going to resonate with so many people. I'm just listening to you. I get goosebumps. I'm like, I want to just spend hours with you. So where have you found, so you kind of already answered the next question of some of that struggle with that burnout. So tell us, where have you been finding lately that delight with this work? Right? Where have those sparks of joy been coming from?
I've been running my first beta group of this coaching program called Conflict Resolution for People Pleasers. It's an 8-week experience, and there's 8 women in there, and they're doing the work in this group environment, and getting to watch. There's something that just like lights me up in group work. So I love a one-on-one connection and conversation. It's like deep and wonderful. And I love doing one-on-one coaching, but seeing how women see each other when they're in a space together and give each other permission to show up a little more authentically, because one brave person goes first and divulges something or discloses something about themselves that another might have found shameful or embarrassing. And then everyone starts bringing themselves more fully into the group dynamic. And this magic happens. It's like so outside of any one of us that it is just such a powerful experience. It's humbling, and it's transformative. And I get off those calls and I'm like, wow, I get to be a part of that. Like, holy camole. So getting to see women who are really vulnerable and willing to do the work to, honestly, to love themselves more, to just give themselves permission to love themselves a bit more.
Just the goal, a goal,
a small little goal,
right? Little one. Okay. So how can, with that community, you know what, we're not going to go there yet. Let's do some tapping, because I think I want to show what it is. And then I want to talk about community showing up, and then we'll talk about the trace. Right. So, but let's talk about what is tapping for those specifically, and what is a nugget that those watching might be able to incorporate in their daily lives.
Perfect. We'll keep it simple. Okay. And we'll demonstrate it. So EFT, again, it stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and it combines kind of the Eastern philosophies of energy meridians in our body. So like acupuncture, like the acupuncture points. And it combines it a little bit with talk therapy of like our Western world. Like we talk it out and we tap it out. And so it takes our words and our body, like it combines the thinking with the somatic experience of getting into the body which holds so much of our subconscious beliefs,
Okay.
and loosens that all up so that we can kind of take stuff that's been kind of stuck on that fight, flight, or freeze side of our nervous system and move it over into the rest and repose so that we can process it in the way that it was meant to. It just got trapped, and so this loosens it up. It has a similar effect maybe towards like EMDR, if anyone's
Okay.
familiar with that type of work as well. And so again, it's really gentle, and you can use it for when you're stressed, when you're angry. You can use it for heightened charged emotions, but you can also use it for affirmations, to like kind of reinforce some positive beliefs. And which is a great place to start with children, by the way, is just like having them talk nice about themselves and tap into it. So if your kiddos end up watching this with you guys, please include them and bring them into it too. It's a really powerful tool. Awesome for reducing stress. So I think we can go kind of straight into that maybe. Okay. So
Do I ground my feet down?
Yes, I would ground yourself a little bit, and I'm going to invite you just to take in a couple conscious breaths. And if you're in a safe place and feel comfortable doing so, you can even close your eyes. And we're just going to take a nice clean breath in through the nose, down into the belly, and out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll do one more. In through the nose, down into the belly, and out through the mouth. And just allowing your breath to kind of rise and fall as it may. And just tuning into your own personal level of stress. And if stress seems present in your life today or in this moment, and where that shows up in your body, if you notice any sensations or tension in any particular place in your body. And when you're ready, you can kind of just tune back into our shared space, just noticing what you notice. And I'll ask you, Jillian, if you have any particular sensation showing up in your body right now.
I can feel some tension just rooting down. So low back, just kind of talking to me a little bit of but I hold stress in my low back.
Okay.
In my hips.
So being really tuned into actually where you do hold that stress. Okay. On a scale of 0 to 10 right now, where is your stress level? 10 being the highest.
Ooh, probably like a 5. It's a Monday. We're just getting started.
We don't even have time to think about yet what all of the stress could possibly be. Perfect. All right. Well, if you're game to join me, it's a little bit of a Simon Says. And so you're going to tap where I tap, and you're going to say what I say. Okay. And so I say everything out loud. So if you do end up closing your eyes, you can follow my verbal cues. Okay. And so what ends up happening is we do 3 setup phrases by tapping on the side of our hand. So you'll join me, and you're going to tap on the side of your hand and say, even though I am feeling a little bit of stress.
I am feeling a little bit stressed.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Even though
I
am feeling some stress.
I am feeling some stress.
Showing up in my lower back. That's okay.
That's okay.
I'm tuning into this.
And
making some space to explore it. Even though I am feeling a little bit of stress. That's okay.
That's okay.
I love and accept myself anyway. Perfect. We're going to go tap on the top of the head. Say, the stress. Eyebrow point. It's a Monday. Side of the eye. It's just a Monday.
I'll do this.
Okay.
It's a Monday.
Underneath the eyes. We're not even getting into it yet. Underneath the nose, this stress. Underneath the stress I feel in my lower back. Collarbone point. This stress. Underneath the arms, this stress I feel in my back. Underneath the chest, this tension. Press together, this tension rooting down. Top of the head, this stress. Eyebrow point, the tension and stress. I'm just acknowledging it. Underneath the eyes, I'm just acknowledging this Monday stress. Underneath the nose, and I'm open. Underneath the lip to the stress moving through me.
to the stress moving through me.
Collarbone point. And if the stress has something to teach me,
And if the stress has something to teach me,
underneath the arms, I'm open to hearing that too.
I'm open to hearing that too.
Underneath the chest, I'm curious.
I'm curious.
Press together. I'm curious about my lower back.
I'm curious about my lower back,
Top of the head, how the stress shows up there.
how the stress shows up there.
Eyebrow point. So I'm acknowledging it.
So I'm acknowledging it,
Side of the eye, and I'm open to learning something.
and I'm open to learning something,
Underneath the eyes, and I can trust.
and I can trust
Underneath the nose, that I will release this stress.
that I will release this stress
Underneath the lip, when I'm ready.
when I'm ready.
Collarbone point. And when I'm ready, I will.
And when I'm ready, I will.
Underneath the arms, I don't have to rush anything.
I don't have to rush anything.
Underneath the chest, I can allow myself to be.
I can allow myself to be
Press together right where I am.
right where I am,
Top of the head, and open myself up.
and open myself up
Eyebrow point to the possibility
to the possibility
side of the eye that this stress is moving through me now.
that the stress is moving through me now.
Underneath that, I can trust.
I can trust
Underneath the nose, that the stress is moving through me.
that the stress is moving through me,
Underneath the lip, that I'm relieving the stress now.
that I'm relieving the stress now.
Collarbone point, the stress is relieving.
The stress is relieving.
Underneath the arms, the stress is relieved.
The stress is relieved.
Underneath the chest, the stress is relieved now.
The stress is relieved now.
Just tune in, take a nice cleansing breath. Out through the mouth. Just notice what you notice, whether it's a sensation in your body, thoughts that came up, or an emotion that seemed most present. Just kind of observing your own experience. And let me know if anything noticeable stands out.
It's like tingly, like there's like tingly movement in the body. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
It's cool because it's called like energy psychology. And I don't mean that,
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's really
Yeah.
literally named energy psychology. And so there is energy moving through
Yeah.
the body. And so it's important to drink a lot of water and kind of like
Okay.
flush that through a little bit too. On a scale of 0 to 10, where's your stress?
Oh, way lower.
Okay.
Like I'm like a 3 or 2. I'm like, I don't even care what's going on right now.
Now, isn't it wild? And it's like, there's so much power, I think, one, in being able to tell ourselves the truth, like we're verbally telling ourselves the truth. And then the physical aspect, like, I mean, that is such a component of this, is like, sometimes we forget that we have a body throughout the day, right? And it's like just making some space to connect in. We didn't tap all that long, right? And you were able to relieve that. So something you can totally do by yourself, often with a practitioner too, right? Because we can reflect it back to each other, but something that, we can just kind of take wherever we go.
I hope everyone catches a snippet of that. That was so cool. And I will admit, I didn't know what to expect. I've never done it before. And in my head, I was like, oh, I'm just going to tap. But the verbal back and forth it let me say things that I wouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like thought of saying, like, it's okay. And I'm just going to hold it and like, let it go. And like, okay, very cool. So bring it back, because I could do that all day.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you for that.
Thank you. So how can the community show up, right? For your business, for you as a woman, for you in society? What can the community do? Our community, the greater community do?
Do the emotional regulation work, do the work to like get honest about what's going on with yourself and find tools that help you work through them and do the work, so that we're not passing our masks, our cover-ups onto one another, right? Like that we can live authentically communicating with one another and like stating our actual needs. Because so much of what we experience is what people put on their face to show the world. And so do the work to show it more authentically.
Oh, I love that. And I will say, some people here, hopefully my computer is just making a ton of noises right now. Sorry, everybody. I have apparently something going beep, 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 beep on my computer.
Sounds like we're like under the ocean.
I know. It's like the sonar of work trying to creep back into my morning.
Tap, 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 tap.
I love the do the work. And I think though, these tools and what you just showed us with EFT and writing it down, because sometimes people hear do the work and they're like, what the fuck?
What do you
I don't
mean?
even know where to start. What do you
Right. And
mean?
aren't I doing enough work? By the way, I do not want to shame anyone into thinking they're
Yeah.
not doing enough with their lives,
Yeah.
because you are. Just
But
get some support.
finding, yeah, those tools and that support in
Yeah.
different ways that work
Yeah.
best for you to go deeper in that work. So I wanted to
Right.
clarify what that meant.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Megan,
Me too.
I love this big question. How are you leaving your trace?
I am leaving my trace by sharing tools that folks can use themselves and share onward. Like, I hope it's a ripple of like tools that you pick up and lessons learned that just get shared, that are simple, relatable, playful, and insightful.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your trace with us, sharing coffee this morning,
Oh, thank you.
and sharing your journey and what EFT is, because I think it's so cool and so important,
Awesome.
and another tool for our toolbox. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jillian.